Anyway.
Yeah, I'm pushing live. Oh, we're live streaming. I'm going on my page really quick. Hey,
Hey.
everybody. I have company today. You guys, if you don't know who this beautiful rock star is, you are about to find out. You need to know because she is just absolutely freaking fabulous. I'm just yep, there it is. I just wanted to double check and make sure we are actually on Facebook. So, hi, everybody. I titled this video, You Don't Need Certification, OMG. And I did this because you all know how I am. I am not anti education, I'm not anti degree. I have a degree, and most of the women that come to me are intelligent women. Most of them are already in fields that require them to have a degree. And then when you get into entrepreneurship, it's this whole new ball game, and the belief and the knowing that you can progress and actually use your genius prior to is probably one of the biggest struggles that most people deal with. And so you guys hear me say it all the time, but how about not, why don't we talk about this out of the mouth of someone else's perspective? So this is Tamaan. She's an absolute jewel. And I've had the pleasure of working with you and experiencing your vibrancy. And so before we get into everything, why don't you go ahead and tell everybody who you are and what you do?
So hello everyone. So I'm Tamaan Wilkinson and I'm a coach. So I help women to recognize their worth so they can get paid what they need to get paid at work.
Ooh, and that's a specific niche right there, because a lot of people when they're talking about helping people and coaching people, almost everybody's like, well, I've got to coach entrepreneurs, but you help women in the workplace, advancement in their careers. Not that you don't work with entrepreneurs too, because I know they come to you, but your marketing and your messaging has a tendency to be to career women more than entrepreneurs. Yeah. But that hasn't stopped entrepreneurs from coming to you, right?
No, not at all.
No. So, and I tell people all the time that, just because you quote unquote narrow your niche and you really knock in your messaging, it doesn't mean that you're going to miss any money. It's really just going to prove that you're an authority at something. So, but before we, get too deep into the conversation, how about we let people know how you and I even came together? I'm not even 100% sure how we connected either, but social media is so powerful. You're in the UK and I'm over in Atlanta. But do you remember how we connected?
I do, as you mentioned it a minute ago. Yeah. So I was on Facebook one day and I noticed in my news feed a post from a woman. So maybe 2016, I was in another business coaching program. And I made friends with another woman. She somehow was following you, and I think she shared one of your posts. Either that or she liked it, but it came up in my feed. I don't remember what the video was, but I noticed you, and I was like, who's this woman? So then I began to follow you, and everything that you were talking about just resonated with me. So it went from there. So I think I probably contacted you. Yeah, at some point I got in touch with you.
You said 2016?
That's when I did this other business coaching program. But I think it was early 2018 or late 17 that I reached out to you.
Yeah, that's still a significant amount of time. Hey, Camille, I see you there. But I was like, wow, I was going to say you've been following for that long, but still 2018. So I do remember that you and I spoke in the late spring, early summer of 2016 and entertained working with each other. And we did eventually, shortly after, end up doing that. So what was going on in your business that you even entertained working with me as a coach?
So I've been trying to get my business off the ground since 2015, actually. 2015, 2016, I took a year out because it just wasn't the right time for me, honestly. But I think the point I reached out to you, I was in the early stages of doing my coaching training. And I was wanting to get clients, but I know one of the struggles for me was doubting whether I was able to get paying clients, given that I was still not a qualified coach.
And I mean, I know what that means, but to really make it crystal clear in your mind, what does it mean to be a qualified coach?
Different now, but back then it was about having the paper, the certification, the qualification, the formal professional training.
Yeah. And I know a lot of women wrestle with that. So here it is. It's like, okay, I'm not getting the clients that I'm looking for just yet, but that's got to have something to do with the fact that I'm not certified. So you come into the group and I'm like, I don't care if you don't have certification. Let's talk about who you want to serve, what you want to do. And then we started going through these different series of training. So you're in the group, and for you, what was that thing that allowed you to start attracting clients?
It was probably maybe one of the very first exercise that you gave, which was it was about, rather than focus on the client, it was identifying my own strengths. It was looking at who I am, what I've overcome, how I've overcome what I've come, and then looking at the transformation that I've helped other people to achieve even before I called myself a coach. So I don't know what the exercise was called now, but it was very early on in the group program. I can't remember what it's called, but I think that was when the light bulb went on for me. Then it was like, do I need to have this paper? Because actually, I am already making a difference in people's lives, and I have been doing that just by being who I am and the gifts that I've been, my God-given gifts for years.
Yeah, and I noticed that I see you more so on Instagram than necessarily on Facebook, because that's your jam for the most part and where you are. I know that when you were beginning, you've always had some form of a social media presence. I've seen you go live on Facebook some and stuff like that. But I can honestly say, like, even now, even though we don't work together, your messaging is so laser sharp and razor sharp, and you are very consistent now. And when you pop up in the feed, you're there, not meaning that you're there nonstop all the time, but constantly, you're there, and you're there with your message. So now here you have a business where, I mean, do you even, I know you did some pro bono before. Have you even entertained the thought anymore of, well, I may have to, cut a deal in order to get them to say yes?
No.
No. And I literally, it's a very basic yes or no question, but I really wanted to ask that because now, what kind of women come to you when you have those conversations about, hey, you want to advance in your career, what the mindset about paying you has a lot to do with how you present yourself. What does that experience look like now when people say, oh my God, I think I need to work with Tamaan?
What I'm finding is that people are following me for a little while on social media. So by the time they've reached out to me, whether it's through DM or any other means, they've already decided that they want to work with me. They're just more curious about maybe the process or whatever. And I've not had, of the clients that I've signed, none have quibbled about the price.
And one of the things that we did talk about extensively in the group was, what is the price and how much are you charging? Why are you charging that rate? And have you really looked at the value of it? Oh yeah, Chrissy's just coming on here. She said, what do you do? She's a coach, Chrissy, and she works with entrepreneurs too, but she works with individuals to advance in their careers. I only shot past that so the people that have been here since the beginning don't hear us go back to that. So you didn't do one-to-one with me. And I know a lot of people, they are like, I want August one-to-one, and I'm not going to work with her until I can be a total badass and have enough money to work one-to-one. You came into the Fix My Business group. So talk to them about your experience and how that was beneficial with helping you, because that meant that you actually had more support than just me. You had a sister around you.
Yeah, no, that was definitely true. So I think just before I signed up to join the group, one of my reservations was, will there be enough one-to-one support? Because that's one of my, sometimes groups you can get lost, but no, to be honest, I would say I never felt, I mean, it was a group process in the sense of, yes, there's other people that you could go to for support. And it did feel like a sisterhood. The group definitely does feel like that, to the point that, I've added some of the other ladies on my Facebook, and I've been in contact with them outside of the group, just some for silliness, but also some business related questions as well. But no, the group was very supportive. And I think, one, because you are a constant presence in the group. And the best thing was that you are able to give personalized guidance and support for the women in the group.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people, a lot of people miss that when you talk about a group. They don't, have you been in a group coaching program before where you felt lost, or you just heard about it?
I have, yeah, and it was, I don't want to speak negative of that particular
No
coach,
bashing. Yeah.
but my experience was that there's a set structure to follow, and it's kind of easy to fall back. If you're not keeping up, sometimes you can lose pace and begin to lose momentum. But what I loved about the Fix My Business group is that you're able to give very tailored support because you are looking out for each individual woman.
Thank you. I appreciate that. So you have the support, you have the individualized attention, even though it's a group, not necessarily one-to-one session, but there was a lot that could happen in the 5 or 10-minute videos, that were kind of interspersed. And then there were times when we just maybe hopped on a Zoom just for, sisterhood quality and said, let's talk some things out because, well, go ahead. You about to say something.
No, I remember that. I think I've had some stuff going on, and really appreciated that. Not even necessarily to do with my business, but yeah, it was great.
Yeah, just to kind of hash out some personal things. So I want to backtrack again though. So you and I, when we first met, a lot of people are afraid to do connection calls because they just know that they know that they know that as soon as they get on that call, the next thing is going to be, oh, you got to take this offer because I'm giving you this offer. If you don't do it, I'm going to manipulate you and talk bad to you and let you know that you don't believe in your dream. But the first time that we actually connected and talked, do you mind kind of sharing what that experience was like?
Yeah, so the first time we connected, I wasn't in a position to sign up for the one-to-one coaching like I actually wanted to. But I remember that you gave a lot of value in that call. I think a lot of the time, some business coaches will offer a strategy call, which can be very limited really in terms of value. But what the guidance that you gave me was actually enough for me at that time to go ahead and make some progress. But then obviously I came back because I could only go so far. So no, that I never felt under any pressure to sign up. I really felt like you were in service of me and what I really needed and wanted, and also what was realistic for me at the time.
Yes, thank you. I appreciate that. Well, you were a pleasure to work with, and you are a very structured person. You were like, what do I need to do? Okay, I did it. Okay, I'm a little bit distracted with some other things. I'll be back, and then I can come back in. You were very regimented. You had open communication about wherever it was that you were, where you were at. And so you said something about keeping up with the pace. For you, did you feel at any time like I was like pressuring you to stick to, oh, you need to do this because this month this is what we're studying, next month this is what we're studying as well? Or did you feel that what was that like to have the flexibility to move at your own pace, or the push to, girl, you better get your stuff together, come on, what are you doing? For you, what was your experience like? What were you feeling like? I don't care, I might get in trouble for asking this question.
No, I think it can work and it can't work. For me, it worked because I have had a lot going on, else outside of my business. So it wouldn't have worked had I had to follow a week by week, month by month program. To be honest, there were times when I'm not even sure what the topics were that the rest of the group, because I was doing something else. I was at a different stage in my business and I didn't really need to know at that time. But the beauty was being able to dip in and out as was appropriate to my needs at that time and depended on where my business was. So for me, I would say the way that you run the group works for me personally.
There Definitely. We go. Thank you.
I think so, someone who needs maybe more hand holding, that might be a bit more tricky, but yeah.
Yeah, and that's usually when those with other tiers to be able to, that we won't get into that, to be able to have more one-to-one calls for people that still couldn't necessarily do the one-to-one, to have that hybrid option. So yeah, but you were and you guys that are listening, she was in at the base level, like, hey, I have access to the group, as opposed to some of the other levels where you get a call every month or a mastermind call, and there was still significant progress in 6 months. So after the 6 months, I mean, it's kind of a no-brainer to say that you went from not having clients to then having clients. But just to kind of reiterate for them, the most valuable thing for you being in that group to transform your business was what?
I thought, two things I would say. First of all was being really clear on who I am and what I do. So what is the outcome? No, 3 things: who I am, what I do, and what's the outcome. The second thing is having bold confidence in being able to say, this is what I do, and having confidence that I will attract the right clients, regardless of certifications or not having certifications. And thirdly, I thought my messaging was pretty clear when I started the program. I was like, I think it's pretty good. No, but now, yeah, I'm confident with my messaging.
Yeah, and for the most part, I will say that you were right there, but to have that extra edge of clarity,
Yeah.
it was a game changer for the level of attraction. And I think that that's the part that most people miss, because most women that come to me, they're right there. But when you get that plateau and you need to cross that threshold, then that's
Yeah.
that extra edge, that extra set of eyeballs. Go ahead.
Yeah, and what I will say is one thing that I found frustrating at the point I came to you was that, you know, people say, oh, you're so inspirational, this is wonderful, and that's lovely, I love to inspire, but I'm also here to get paid. So the difference between inspiring and, you know, provoking people to action.
Yeah, now you guys that listen to me on my lives, you know, that's my pet peeve. Stop telling me that people feel good, empowered, they need to be inspired to take action. So for people that are on the outside looking in, because we don't want to keep you all day, that have been on the fence and are trying to figure it out, and it's like, oh my God, here goes another coach that's saying they can do magic. I'm going to start this business, or I can help you with your business, yada, yada, yada. What do you say to the person with the classic question that's on the fence about working with me? What would you say to them?
Absolutely do it. Absolutely do it. I've worked with a few other coaches in my time up until now, and working with you was a completely different experience to working with the others. And I'll say the key difference with you, August, is that you are not cookie cutter. You know, you don't just teach websites, lead funnels, blah, 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 Facebook ads. You do teach about that, but it's in relation to the individual business. So that was a game changer for me. Absolutely. So yeah, I would have no qualms about recommending you as a business coach.
She gonna make me cry, y'all. So yeah, so I just wanted to tell you thank you. So you guys, this is Tamaan. If you are not already connected to her, if you happen to be following me because you're on the fence because you're like, I want to be an entrepreneur, but I'm still in a career. You might be hating your career because you can't advance. You might need to talk to her because entrepreneurship may not be for you. You may not need me, but then you also just want great, positive people to be in your circle. Those are the kind of individuals that you want to be connected to. And so it's been a pleasure to know you inside and outside of the group. And thank you for taking time. Thank you for taking time to come out here and talk to the people about your experience. You guys, straight lace, no chaser, no provocation. Just, hey, what is it like and what does it look like? So some of you, thank you. Camille says such a great perspective. So some of you guys are on the fence. Some of you guys are thinking. You've heard it from the horse's mouth, how I feel, not cookie cutter, my level of attention to detail, and how everybody can be in a group coaching program, but still not feel left out. That's the way that I would say that how I feel about what you said. And what a lot of people tell me is that it's amazing to them that I can keep people structured in a group, but then still make people feel individualized. And I don't want any of you all to miss your opportunity to be able to work with me because you believe that you want to advance quickly, and that unless you put it all on the line and you find an exorbitant amount of money, that you can't do that, because it's not true. I don't know about everybody else. I just know with my experience that, you know, the level of attention that I can give you, it doesn't make a difference which level you work with on me. My dedication, my motivation is to get your results, because my reputation is on the line as well. So if anybody has any questions, you know where to find me. You can message me, and we can go from there. And we're going to let you all get back to the rest of your day. Bye.
Take care. Bye.